Namaskar and a very warm welcome to all of you in this episode. I was going through a book written by Mr. Aryabhata in which on some context he talks about the importance of numbers, and in that too a number which is so much pious and liked by Indians particularly, and that in them too Hindus, and that number is 9. 9 की संख्या. और ये आप में से बहुत लोगों को शायद इसके बारे में जानकारी होगी. और जब मैं एज ए स्टूडेंट, एज ए चाइल्ड, व्हेन आई वाज टॉट मैथमेटिक्स बाय माय टीचर्स, these things were made known to us, not necessarily making us aware of the importance of number 9, but just making mathematics a sort of fun and something which would be liked by us as children. तो मैंने सोचा कि आज का जो मैं एपिसोड है, क्यों ना हम इंडियन मैथमेटिक्स के ऊपर बात करें, और जो 3-4 लोग या पर्टिकुलरली उनमें से 2 लोग जिन्होंने बहुत कंट्रीब्यूट किया मैथमेटिक्स के रूप में, नॉट ओनली फॉर इंडिया बट फॉर द एंटायर वर्ल्ड. तो मैंने सोचा इसी बारे में आज आपसे मैं बात करूं, क्योंकि बच्चों के लिए भी ये बड़ा ही इंटरेस्टिंग होगा और हम बड़ों के लिए भी इंटरेस्टिंग होगा. जैसे हमारे यहाँ 4 युग माने जाते हैं: सतयुग, त्रेता युग, द्वापर युग और कलयुग, जिसमें आजकल हम जी रहे हैं. तो इनकी जो ड्यूरेशन है वो ड्यूरेशन भी हमारे यहाँ बताई गई है हमारे पुराणों में. अब देखिए, सतयुग की जो ड्यूरेशन है ईयर के रूप में, दैट इज 17,28,000. त्रेता युग इज 12,96,000. द्वापर युग इज 8,64,000. Unfortunately, Kalyug is the shortest, 4,32,000. If you add the digits of these yug, duration of Satyug, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug, like I take only one example of Kalyug, 4,32,000. So 437 plus 2 is 9. So in all the 4 cases, the total would come out to be 9. Now in Hindu religion, there are 18 Purans. 108 Mahapurans, that is Upanishad. महाभारत में 18 पर्व हैं, गीता में 18 अध्याय हैं, भगवत पुराण में 18,000 श्लोक्स हैं, 18,000 श्लोक्स हैं. हम 9 ग्रह की पूजा करते हैं. नवरात्रे दुर्गा के हम 9 रूप की पूजा करते हैं. नवरात्रे जो अभी गए हैं, जो हमने देखा है. अगर आप डायमीटर ऑफ अर्थ देखते हैं तो इसके अंदर डायमीटर ऑफ अर्थ अगर मैं माइल्स में लूँ, डायमीटर ऑफ सन भी, चूँकि जितनी भी ये वैल्यूज़ मैं माइल्स में लेने की कोशिश करूँगा, और उसको देखिए डायमीटर ऑफ अर्थ अगर 7920 अप्रोक्सीमेटली इतने माइल्स माना जाता है, 7920 माइल्स, एट द डिजिट्स you will get 9 number. Diameter of the sun, which is considered to be as 864,000, that is 8,64,000 miles, add the numbers, you will get 9. Speed of light, if you take in miles per second, 1,86282 miles per second, the total comes out to be 9. If you take 1 year as 5,25,600 minutes, the total would come out to be as 9. 1 month is 4,32,000, again add this. 1 week is 10,080 minutes, add it. 1 day is 1,440 minutes, add it. In every case, the number would come out to be 9. And if you look at multiply any number by 9, and whatever would be the result, add the digits of that number, and you will get it as 9. Now, जब मैं नंबर्स के बारे में वापस इतने सालों बाद पढ़ रहा था और इनको खुद मल्टीप्लाई करके देख रहा था, सो ये करते करते मुझे बॉलीवुड फिल्म्स के 2 गाने याद आए, और उनमें से एक है कि 0 दिया मेरे भारत ने तब दुनिया को गिनती आई. ये गाना कुछ इस तरह का है. तो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि मैथमेटिक्स was so important and so much deep rooted in our country that we had given it to the world. And the second is that जहां डाल डाल पर सोने की चिड़िया करती थी बसेरा, like it was a golden period. I mean, this country had so much of a wealth for self and to give it to the world, and not the wealth in terms of the materialistic things, but in terms of knowledge. We acquired knowledge from different sources wherever we could get, and we shared that knowledge with each one and everyone. And this can be proved because I could remember a book written by Mr. Williams, and the title of the book is Golden Roads, in which he has dedicated one particular chapter to Indian mathematics only. And the title of the chapter, the name of the chapter he has given, The Science of Numbers. And then I was listening to his podcast also, and the podcast by Mr. Amish Tripathi, and then I realized, not only realized, it was a kind of reinforcement in the belief that India was a great country. भारत देश एक ऐसा देश था जिसके पास अद्भुत रिसोर्सेज थे और ट्रिमेंडस अमाउंट ऑफ नॉलेज थी in every field, be it mathematics, be it science, be it astronomy, be it trade, economics, finances, whatever it is, agriculture, I mean everywhere. And then I thought of sharing the information about two great mathematicians. Because why only for mathematicians? Reason being that we have to remember and understand that Bharat was the country which gave the mathematics to the world. And it is mentioned somewhere in the book, Golden Roads probably, or maybe at some other place, that Indian ideas most affected the world through their maths, and especially development of set of numbers which in West is called or considered to be as Arabic numbers. These are not Arabic numbers. These are basically the numbers which were given by Indian mathematicians. And the two of them are so important. One is Aryabhata ji and another is Brahmagupta ji. So I would talk first about Aryabhata ji, who is considered to have lived from 476 to 650, and he is considered to be born or to have lived at least in Pataliputra, which is today's Patna in Bihar. Now, you would have seen the pictures, the photos of Aryabhata ji, and you would find him like he looks like a saint. और एक साधु के रूप में दिखते हैं जैसे. बट आप मान के चलिए, नालंदा में जब पढ़ाई होती थी, बहुत सारे वहाँ हर तरह के लोग जाकर के पढ़ते थे, हर विचार के लोग, हर सब्जेक्ट वहाँ जाकर के पढ़ते थे, और बस पढ़ते थे और डिस्कशन वहाँ पे होते थे. तो हो सकता है वो वहाँ रहे हों और उन्होंने वहाँ पढ़ाया हो और वहीं पर बहुत सारी चीज़ें उन्होंने दुनिया को दी हों, जिसमें कई बार बात करते हैं हम लोग के पाई का जो 4 आफ्टर डेसिमल पॉइंट्स 4 डिजिट्स तक जो एग्जैक्ट नंबर बताया, वो हमारे आर्यभट्ट जी ने उस वक्त में बताया. आर्यभट्ट जी ने ट्रिग्नोमेट्री की बात की. उन्होंने साइन, जिसको हम आजकल साइन बोलते हैं, हालांकि अर्धजा से शुरू हुआ था, ये अर्धजा ARDHA-JYA यहाँ से शुरू हुआ था. उसको फिर किसी दूसरी भाषा में, फिर लैटिन में, फिर अंग्रेजी में, और अल्टीमेटली आकर के ये साइन बना. और ये लेकिन कहाँ से शुरू ओरिजिनेट हुआ था? हमारे आर्यभट्ट जी के द्वारा. अब उसमें देखिए, उन्होंने पहली बार कहा था कि अर्थ रोटेट्स अराउंड इट्स एक्सिस, एंड ड्यू टू दैट वी आर एबल टू से वी फील लाइक एज द स्टार्स आर मूविंग. इसका मतलब ये हुआ, उन्होंने रिलेटिव मोशन का सबसे पहले एक एग्जांपल दिया कि चूंकि अर्थ रोटेट कर रही है अपनी एक्सिस पे, स्टार्स आर स्टेशनरी, दो while we are moving, like when we move in a train or in a car or in a bus, the stationary things outside appear to us as to be moving backward, whereas these are not the ones which are moving, but we are the ones who are moving forward. He has talked about cube root, square root, number system, quadratic equation, and a lot many things. He did calculate the distance between the moon and the earth, and to almost the exact number. Though some people say that Aryabhata ji was from Kerala side, they try to, Bhaskar ji, the other great mathematician, had mentioned it somewhere. But still, people say that he was, of course, there from, and this Patliputra, which is nowadays Patna, just for the information of my viewers, this was known as Kusumpura. And that is what he himself had mentioned somewhere. He had written 2 books we know very well, and these are well-known books, Aryabhatya and Aryabhatta Siddhanta. These are two very, very important books, and these books were written in the form of a poetry. I mean, these were not like prose or the theorems. It was all poetic form, and the same was done by Brahmagupta ji. Now I remember a quote given by Aryabhata ji, where he mentioned, "By the grace of Brahma, I dive deep into the ocean of astronomical theories, true and false, and rescue the sunken jewel of true knowledge by the means of the best of my own intellect." So he was absolutely sure about his intellect and what best he can find out from everything available around, every knowledge around, and take best out of that, and that is what he could give. And we all know it very well that in the world, most of the things are already there. Only thing is that great people, great mathematicians, great scientists, they discover that. Many people may not really know about that, may not interpret them, but great, great intellect people can do. And that's why he said, the boat of my own intellect. And that everyone has to do. So after Aryabhata ji, because I started with saying that it was India who gave the numbers, or to which the West would call as Arabic numbers or Arabic mathematics. It was basically the Indian mathematics. And what comes next is about Brahmagupta ji. And I'm very excited talking about Brahmagupta ji. Reason being that I live in a state where he was born. And he was born in 598. Like at a place which is very close to the place where I live. And I'm feeling so overwhelmed while talking to you. Now look at a person who is feeling so happy, knowing it that a mathematician of great repute, who gave numbers, who gave zero, who explained zero to the world, was born at a place which is hardly 3 hours away from where I live. So why should we not feel proud, and why should we not try to find out how great our country was, how great our ancestors were, how much our ancestors contributed for the welfare of the public at large, not only our country, but the entire world. So when I talk about Brahmagupta ji, I might become emotional and then talking about any other mathematician or scientist, because this fellow, because not many people would know in the state of Rajasthan that Brahmagupta ji was born here. And that too at a place which nowadays is called Bhinmal. At that time it was under the dynasty rulers of Gujarat that time. And this great genius was responsible for explaining zero to the world. ब्रह्मगुप्त जी ने जब जीरो के बारे में बात की तो कई बार ये कहा जाता है क्या उससे पहले हमें जीरो के बारे में पता नहीं था। जीरो था, लेकिन जीरो को इस तरह से किसी ने समझा नहीं था, उसको एक पूर्ण संख्या के रूप में, कंप्लीट नंबर के रूप में नहीं माना गया था। लेकिन जब ब्रह्मगुप्त जी ने बात की तो उन्होंने कहा कि देखिए, जब हम किसी नंबर में कोई नंबर जोड़ते हैं तो हमें एक नंबर मिलता है, कोई नंबर में से नंबर घटाते हैं तो भी नंबर मिलता है। लाइक इफ वी ऐड 5 to 5 वी गेट 10, इफ सब्ट्रैक्ट 2 from 5 वी गेट 3. So what happens when we subtract 5 from 5? Because when you subtract or add one number to another number, or one number from another number, we get a number. So when we subtract 5 from 5, whatever we get should also be a number. So this was his argument, and he said that zero, which comes out to be because of the one number being subtracted from itself, then it gives a number zero. और उन्होंने जीरो की कई सारी प्रॉपर्टीज को वहाँ पर एक्सप्लेन किया है, जिसमें उन्होंने कहा है जीरो मल्टीप्लाइड बाय सम नंबर विल गिव यू, जीरो नंबर डिवाइडेड बाय सम नंबर विल गिव यू. एंड वाइल डूइंग सो वो एक कॉन्सेप्ट और ले आए नेगेटिव नंबर्स का. तो अगर उससे पहले हम लोग कभी नेगेटिव नंबर्स की बात नहीं करते थे, नेगेटिव नंबर्स का भी हम कॉन्सेप्ट ले आए, डेसिमल का हम कॉन्सेप्ट ले आए. जहाँ तक प्लेस वैल्यू की बात है, ऑफ कोर्स वो तो हमारे आर्यभट्ट जी भी उसके बारे में बात कर चुके थे. तो शून्य को इन्होंने काफ़ी महत्व दिया. और आप देखिए कि अगर शून्य को उस एंगल से ना देखा जाता बाद में, अब आप समझेंगे कि जीरो और बाकी जो नंबर्स 1 to 9, आई हैव ऑलरेडी टॉक्ड अबाउट द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ 9. And now Brahmagupta ji told us the importance of zero. हालांकि ये हमारे शास्त्रों में कहीं ना कहीं पहले भी लिखा हुआ था, बट उसको दुनिया को सामने लाने में, उसको दिखाने में, उसकी प्रॉपर्टीज को बताने में ब्रह्मगुप्त जी का बड़ा योगदान रहा। और उसकी वजह से आज हम कहीं तक भी नंबर, इन्फिनिटी तक के नंबर या तो बोल सकते हैं, लिख सकते हैं, वो वैल्यू प्राप्त कर सकते हैं इस शून्य की वजह से, जीरो। और खास बात ये देखेंगे आप कि जो शून्य है इसका सिंबल almost similar है in all the languages. The size may be different, a little bit of shape may be different, but the symbol remains almost the same. So this has been great, along with the rest of the things which he had done in mathematics and in astronomy. Of course, number system, the place system, the decimal system, these all were there. The astronomical theories which he gave, based on the knowledge which he acquired from his own predecessor, like Aryabhata ji. Aryabhata ji left this world in the year 550, which I told, and he was born in 598. So he already had some work done by Aryabhata ji and other mathematicians. I would like to tell every one of you that all this work is written in Sanskrit. And that has to be interpreted and translated into other languages to understand it as on today. So Brahmagupta ji wrote two books, and in the first book, which he wrote when he was 30, and 30 would have been in the year 628, and this book had 25 chapters. And the second book was some improvement on the books, on the chapters which were written in the previous book, and some additional chapters were also added to that in that book. And now, see what happens. He used to work in an observatory, first as a mentor and second as probably the head of the observatory in Ujjain. And this work of his in mathematics and in astronomy and all those areas was kept there. Now, during that period, if we talk about the history, the Arabs were really coming up. And they had their own capital, and later on ultimately changed it to Baghdad. Baghdad in 700, 600 CE was a knowledge of center. And some people say that it had a library as big as, of course not, I don't agree with that, as big as in Nalanda. So, if not Nalanda, but there were, what I'm trying to say is that Baghdad was also becoming a place or a center which was seeking knowledge from everywhere. So Arabs thought that let us, because everybody knew that Indian mathematics and scientists were doing great, astronomers were doing great. So they thought of getting the knowledge or seeking knowledge from India. So I don't know how the book or the work of Brahmagupta ji was taken from Ujjain to the king of Sindh. Now Sindh is which lies in the Indus River, and the Arabs had reached to that area. I mean, to the west. If I take, they had gone up to Spain. Then east they had come up to Indus River, and then in Afghanistan they had gone to really have the Islam spread. And they asked, I mean, the Arabs asked the king of Sindh to provide them some work of mathematics. And it was this work because king of Sindh wanted some friendly relationship with Arabs. So he really gave this work to Arabs. Now, when these books were taken to Baghdad, then it was found that all was written in Sanskrit and nobody was able to understand what it was written. So they got the Brahmins to translate it from Sanskrit to their language. And many Brahmins were taken, and one of them was Kanaka. And that Kanaka was responsible for getting it translated. And when these books were translated, these from there went to the West, and West thought that as these books were, or this mathematics which they have got, is from Arab, and that's why they said it as Arabic mathematics. Whereas in reality, it is Bharatiya Sankhya, Indian numbers, and it is Indian mathematics. So what I was trying to make us all believe that our ancestors, our past has been glorious. But unfortunately, we have not been able to really make our generations aware of it. Because when I was trying to research about Aryabhata ji and Brahmagupta ji, childhood, where did they study, how did grow, I found very little material which I can call as authentic. Hence, I have not included it in that. So if we would not value our own people, then who will do that? And because outside historians may not be that generous as Indians can be. And we have to have that belief and faith in our ancestors. This time I have talked about mathematics. Next time I might take up that Sone ki Chidiya part, in which we will talk about how wealthy our nation was and why was it so wealthy and how did it help the world for that. So thank you very much. God bless us all.